Hi and welcome to the Moychay Tea Culture Club in Amsterdam. This is our bar where we make our super cool tea cappuccinos and tea espressos with our very own, first in Europe, tea machine. We also make different signature drinks, and today I want to present to you our very special Moychay Matcha. So the way matcha gets produced is a bit like Byokuro, one of the very popular Japanese green teas. So the matcha gets shaded off, or the tea leaves, the tea plant where the matcha will be made from, gets shaded off, and this causes the plant to start absorbing more nutrients from the ground because it needs more to survive because it doesn't get the sunlight. And the leaf turns more dark green and really gets a different texture even. So after that it gets ground up between two stones, and then you get a very bright green powder. And the better your matcha is, the brighter it is, basically, up to a certain threshold of course. But if you get a very dark, a bit muffled green matcha, that means it's maybe of a lesser quality, or it may be very old. So we have two matchas here. One is the high grade and the other one is the Uji. And you may ask, what's the difference? Well, the difference is that the high grade matcha is more often used in drinks like a matcha latte, anything where the matcha is mixed with something, because the Uji, for example, has a more multi-dimensional taste. So the main difference is quality. They're both very good, but the Uji is just a bit better. To prepare it, we need a chasen, that's a bamboo whisk, and also a chawan. So to get the best taste and not let this wonderful matcha go bitter, we will need to prepare it at 85 degrees Celsius. So I've got some water already in it. Let's switch on our kettle. And if you don't have a kettle with a different temperature switch, you can also just make the tea or make the water, let it go to 100 degrees and then let it cool down for 1 to 2 minutes before you pour it inside your cup or chawan. So we have our water right here, and you may notice me putting just a bit inside. That's because you only use 20 milliliters first. So basically, if you want to mix it with milk, for example, oat milk, soy milk, doesn't matter. You just make a paste with a bit of water and then add your milk or sweeteners and honey and stuff like that. So let's get our matcha. Let's get something to get it inside. And you have very handy matcha spoons, but you can also just eye it. I would suggest a serving size of approximately 1 gram because that's not too bitter, but also gives you a kick and a punch of matcha itself. So check it out. This is approximately 1 gram. This is enough, but it's of course always personal taste and how big your your chawan or your bowl or your cup is, right? So now we grab our water and we have our whisk at the ready. If you want, you can also soak it a bit. It's very important to soak it when you first use the whisk, because then the bamboo has to untangle a bit, all right? So let's add a bit of the water, just a tiny bit. And now is the fun part. We start to whisk it, just like that. And don't apply too much pressure, then that will break the bamboo. And don't hold it like this, like you're whisking an egg. You're not whisking an egg, you're making a paste, a homogeneous paste. You use zigzag movements and make sure you do it fast. If you notice that there's not enough water, you can always add some. So an important indicator for me is if there's foam forming or not. Right now I don't see foam, so because I want to drink this matcha pure, this is the moment I can add a bit more water. Yes, I think this is enough, also for my personal tastes. Let's whisk it a bit more so that you can see the beautiful foam forming on top. So approximately I would mix this for 1 minute if you really want to go at it. But you can also, for example, use the whisker for your milk at home, right? So it's just about mixing it very well so you don't have clumps in your matcha, because that's not very nice for the taste experience. So right now you see that the foam is actually formed. Check this out. And now you know that the matcha is ready for drinking or for adding other stuff into it. The aroma is very grassy, so This is just how you would expect a tea leaf to be when it's like ground up in powder. And the aroma is very fresh because this tea hasn't really been fermented. That's why it's also bright green. When you have black teas or something like that, it's black because it has gone through the process of fermentation. Let's have a little taste. Wow, that's the taste of nature. Well, this one may be very overpowering for some people, right? So that's just like comparing a very, very, very tight espresso shot and a latte macchiato. So my preference is actually to add a bit of milk into it. And I really enjoy oat milk because oat milk gives a cloudy sensation which really complements the matcha. You can also do this at home. Easy. We like to use Oatly because Oatly has just a very different cloudy sensation to it, and it leaves a very nice aftertaste. That's important when you are trying to enjoy and drink, right? So we foam our milk to around 68 degrees, but as I said, a home foamer is also completely fine. By the way, about this wonderful machine we're using, it may seem like it's a coffee machine at first, but there's never ever been coffee inside. We use this for our tea espressos and tea cappuccinos, which we make from tea dust. So basically, we recycle dust you could also throw away, and we make sustainable tea cappuccinos and tea espressos because we really it really lets the flavor get in to your cup. Anyway, we got our wonderful milk. By the way, quick tip, how you can check if your foam is good or not. It should look uniform, so it should look, there shouldn't be any big bubbles in there, and it should remain stable, right? So then you know your foam is fine. So my preference is to add approximately this amount, I would say 150 milliliters of milk and a bit of sweetener. I recommend agave syrup or, for example, hazelnut syrup from Moychay or something like that. You can choose your own favorite. So check this out. You can see the wonderful green color just mixing very well with the matcha. And just to have a bit of uniformity going, I would mix it one more time. Really don't forget to wash your whisk after you're done with it, otherwise you will get mold, and you of course don't want mold. It's also green, but it's not good. So this is yet unsweetened. You could try it like this, and you will feel, for example, if you use oat milk, you will really feel the sweetness coming from there. In my opinion, this is already sweet enough. But if you want, of course, honey syrup or agave syrup. And there you have it. This is a warm matcha drink. You could also do it iced, just by adding some ice cubes. So it's actually very simple. For example, right now we're gonna have a very warm couple of days in the Netherlands. So making an iced drink out of this is just wonderful. Don't be afraid to add a lot of ice because it will also really cool the drink down very quickly. That's great. And in the iced version, I would really add some caramel syrup myself, for example, just like that. Just a tiny bit because you will really feel it. If you add too much, then it will be very sweet very soon. So, this drink is perfectly enjoyed in the morning because it gives you a lot of energy. And just imagine yourself sitting on the bus with the refreshing grassy taste of matcha. It's, for me, one of the best experiences you can have, you know, or biking or something to your office and really getting the kick out of it. That's great, along with a great taste. So for me, for example, the fact that you don't get a bad aftertaste as you do with coffee is also a big plus. And here you have it, the iced matcha from Moychay.